Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Shri.
Aloha. Blessings and love.
So nice to see your beautiful kingly face.
Great to be seen.
Mm.
Good to see your beautiful face. That shirt you have on. Love that shirt.
Multiple faces on me today.
Right?
Yeah.
You got all kinds of faces going on. Multiple dimensions.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to all the questions that are inside.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I think that I'm really happy that we're doing this. I think the time, it's amazing to me how much the world is changing, how fast it's changing, how many things are happening. I feel like just super grateful to already have the infrastructure to be available to, it's like we're already plugged in. And when I say we, I mean you and me, but I think all of us, like our whole community is like ready to go. Let's do this. So
Yeah.
I'm really, really happy about it.
Yeah.
And super excited to, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, I also just love that you are showing more what happens underneath. Like in your one-on-one coaching and your group coaching, there's so much that the public doesn't get to see.
Yeah.
And so this is just such a beautiful revealing and revelation to open what is kind of hidden and show it out into the public.
Yeah, it's true. It was like it was a secret for a long time.
Yeah.
And now we're revealing the mysteries.
And the bravery of those that have questions.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Well, and it's a great opportunity to just welcome people. We have some people queued up. And if you're watching this live stream, you can join us and ask a question today. So Shri, you want to pop up the link for them to, or the number for them to text? We'll pop you in and get your face up here.
Oh, yeah. All I got to do is click a button.
So the topic is wide open always. You can ask any question here. And I want to frame it that I particularly welcome questions about how to serve during this time of quarantine, of muting and amplifying, muting white voices, amplifying Black voices, and all voices of color, and how to stay on your course and stay on your purpose while the world is going through with whatever the world is going through. So let's bring it. Let's go deep.
Raise it up. Let's start. Let's see. Shall we start, Jesse?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's bring in Chloe.
All right.
Hey, Jesse.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Chloe.
Did you like my long question?
I loved your long question, and I'm so happy to see you here again.
Thank you. It's lovely to be seen. I've had one of those wonderful mornings where everything seems to come crashing in at the same time, and I keep thinking, that's a rabbit? I know that's a rabbit. That must be a rabbit.
Yeah.
Where are my limits, right? Where are my boundaries? Anyway.
So I've read your question, but nobody else has. So, and also maybe it's evolved. So speak from this moment. How can I help you today?
So I'm looking for validation in that as I'm doing this growth work or this exponential growth work, I'm learning where I'm tolerating and learning where I'd like to be or where I need to be, the things that need changing. So there's still some contracts out there that were started on previous premises, which I'm looking to honor and complete faithfully. And my mind, I don't know if I'm always giving myself in the same way that I should or would if it wasn't. I would give myself differently now for this new metric, this new model of what the ideal client is. So I'm sort of trapped between the two, where I'm stuck in the present with the sort of this past, no model, there was no plan, there was no, what is this ideal person? And maybe the boundaries weren't clear. or my own expectations weren't clear.
Mm.
And in some instances, especially in my field, there's some people, it's not just a matter of speaking to them because I have to materialize.
I'm going to interrupt just to focus in. I want to make sure that I'm getting what you're saying. And then if I'm not, correct me. A big part of what I'm hearing you say, I think, is very common, which is that this image actually that you have done this transformational work. Like, let's say you've gone on retreat, you've like had this massive experience, you've seen the face of God, of providence, and you're like, everything is different now. And then you go home and the dishes that you left in the sink are still there. You're talking about this in terms of your clients, in terms of who you're working with. So you've made these big changes that they are already starting to reflect in you and your experience and who's attracted to you, but you also still have the old clients that you have contracts with. Am I getting that so far?
That's correct. Yes, you do.
So what's the question? Like in one sentence, and then we might need more sentences, but how would you frame the question that you have about that situation?
So how do I remain authentic in setting the boundaries if they weren't clearly established on the get-go? Is that clear?
With the old clients, you mean?
Yep.
Tell me what let me feel into what's going to be the most. So you have to get clear, first of all, what the boundaries are.
Yeah, this is something that has been coming through from listening to your other coaching, where you say, what will you tolerate, or what is your limit? I forget how you voice it, but it's know where your edge is. What will you put up with from your client? How is it that you put it?
It's not, I mean, it's interesting to hear you use that language because it's built-in toleration. If you have to put up with them, that's a toleration for sure.
But right? What is your limit? What is your break? What is your breaking edge? I forget how you said it.
Yeah, I mean, you need to get clear about the parameters of your work, which I'm using that word separately from boundaries. Then once you have it's like, this is how we work. This is how I'm going to do the work. This is what I'm responsible for. This is what you're responsible for. You're making agreements. And you can't, I mean, ideally you do that at the beginning, but it doesn't matter. You can do it now. You call up the client and you say, hey, let's set some agreements. I'm ready to take this to the next level, ready to kick this off, ready to whatever. And I want to get really clear with you about who's doing what and by when. I mean, they'll love that. Right? And then you just lay it down. This is what I have in mind. Can you make that work?
Some people are fishy, right? Because they want more for their money than what you are planning on giving them or what you had set at the beginning in terms of price.
Well, that's a different issue, though. What people love clarity. People love clarity. So better for them to go with me here, Chloe.
I'm going.
But I mean, like, I see that you have some resistance here. I don't think that the problem is what you think it is. Right. And I'm also setting you up to be on point and do this on your terms. So if by some chance you have someone who really is going to fight for you to not have clarity, you can't work with them anyway. Doesn't matter if you've agreed to, doesn't matter if they've agreed to. If they're not interested in clarity, that's not going to work.
How do you step out of that relationship gracefully when you hit that point?
You may not be able to do it gracefully if they're not going to be graceful about it. Okay. That doesn't matter.
I'm not used to not ending something gracefully. I'm used to always leaving a piece on the table, and maybe that's what I need to learn to do differently, or be willing to go to that edge sooner rather than drag it out and lose my energy for so long.
Yeah, the goal, I think the shift that you're making is to prioritize your best way of working, knowing that that's in service to the client. So it starts from a place that's focused inward, but it's not. So you could call it selfish if you wanted to, but it's not actually self-serving, because what you do when you are in your center, when you are in your power, when you are in your clarity, when you are in your knowing, when you are in your excellence, you're going to do better work. It will be in service to that other person. So that's your starting point. You gotta begin there. That has to be the priority. And then you communicate. Then you bring that into the relationship. Here's who I am. Here's how I show up. This is what I have in mind. Can you make that work?
Yeah,
and you see how they respond.
Yeah. No, the clarity certainly was something that I hadn't been working with from the beginning. Or if I did, it was really clear at the beginning and then it got gray along the way and I never re-clarified it. And then in these two cases today, I was very clear, but it's as though the other side isn't listening anymore, right? Very clear.
The other side meaning
it's mathematical at some point. Yeah, the client was just not willing to hear the clarity anymore, because it's almost like, when you're trying to end a relationship, you come to a point where you say, here's the problem. We either address this or we have to agree to disagree and move on, right? That's very clear. It's very easy. But if the other person's constantly trying to shift the data inside of this circle, you're never going to get to clarity. You're never going to get to an end. So I finally said, this won't work, right?
Great.
But I feel guilty. I feel
what do you feel guilty about?
That I feel like they didn't receive something that they needed in order to put it in place. Like,
what's the truth of that, Chloe?
That I was willing to, but at the end I wasn't able to. I wasn't able to because the order kept changing. And you can't give something, you can't give 5 different versions of something.
Because they weren't clear.
They weren't clear. Yeah.
So you're right that they didn't receive it. Based on what you're telling me, the reason they didn't receive it is because they weren't receptive. That's not something you can control. So This is an energetic boundary. And I would encourage you to really be vigilant about this one. And I think this is very common. So I'm glad that you're bringing this up here. Even with the other people that I know are waiting to ask a question, this is common. So here's the piece. You have to know. This is like, have you seen Dirty Dancing?
Yeah.
Okay. So when Patrick Swayze is like, this is my dance space. This is your dance space. You got to know that. This is what I can control. Inside here is how I show up, how excellent I am, how well I communicate, how clear I am. Inside here is also how I feel about myself and the work that I do. I'm responsible for my emotional experience, nobody else. So if I feel guilty, that's on me. If I feel great, that's on me. Over here, this is their stuff. This is, and it's important. This is part of what I'm talking about when I say, like, you got to be clear about your parameters. When you make agreements with your clients, you are doing the Patrick Swayze moment, right? You're like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to take care of. This is what you're going to take care of. If you try to control me, this is not going to work. If I try to control you, it's not going to work.
Agreed. So how's the best way to step out of that? Like, once you see that, I saw this weeks ago. And
then just get out of it. What are you still doing in there? Just get out. And the reason I went into here is because it is your job to recognize that their feelings about you, their feelings about your work, they're not really your business. They're in their dance space, not yours.
Got it.
So what are you doing feeling guilty about it? It's none of your business.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, today was just a day where all these things had to keep happening at once. And there was very little I could do about it because, as you said, it was them coming to fruition, right?
It's great. So celebrate that, Chloe. Celebrate that you are cleaning your sink, washing those dirty dishes.
Thank you. I'm still not much clearer on what my ideal client looks like. I sort of do, but anyway, whatever. Thank you, Kristen.
Yeah. Kristen's feeling you. I know it. Yeah. This is super common. It's a very important question. And my encouragement is to just be incredibly radical about your willingness to feel bad based on other people. Like, cut that shit out. Cut it out.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Great job. Keep me posted. I'm excited to hear how this evolves.
Will do. Thank you.
Good one, right?
That was great.
Yeah.
Juicy. Good start. Good start.
Who's next, Sri?
Next, we got Erica. Let's bring her in.
Let's do it.
Welcome.
There she is.
Hi.
Welcome, Dan.
Can you hear me okay? It just got super choppy.
Yep. So far, so good.
Okay. All right. So last week I was super clear as to where I was going, how I was going to get there. And I feel like I've been floored with everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
And that is when I saw your email about how to navigate this, I'm like, oh yeah, I need this because my bandwidth is different. Emotional, mental bandwidth is different right now. Self-care is a big priority right now, just so that I can keep my oxygen mask on, so that I can serve the clients that I currently have. So whatever extra bandwidth I have outside of that is about me showing up and encouraging people to be a voice. Outside of that, I don't really have anything else. So it's a bit of a challenge where I'm feeling like merging my spiritual knowledge and what I understand about creating your reality versus what's happening right now in the collective, and showing up for the collective in the only way I know how, which is like being a voice. This is my experience. And having no idea outside of that, what to do when it comes to my business. I'm like, my business right now is all of a sudden, all of these events happened. And while the work within my business, I feel is really important, I feel like that structure right now is not what's serving the greater good. And
Why
at the
is
same
that?
time, great question.
You're a coach, right?
Yes.
And who do you like to coach?
Women.
And what's the sort of sweetest or hottest topic, challenge, obstacle that you like to coach women around?
So my expertise is around mindset work and really tapping into spiritual truth.
Okay, so I'm just going to
And-
pause you right there.
Yeah.
You identify as a woman of color, correct?
Yes.
This is a time when women of color are wanted more than ever before. They're getting more demand to be heard than ever before. People are imperfectly clearing out, white people in particular, to make space, to make sure they get heard. In many ways, that was true last week, but it's like, it's turned up right now. There is nothing better for the world, and this is not your responsibility, but I just want to be clear. There's nothing better for the world right now than you rocking your business. There are people who've been waiting. They will never come to a Q&A with me. They will never hire me because they need a woman of color to be their mentor and guide. They're waiting for you. You with me so far?
Yes.
There's one other piece. Can you take in one other piece?
Mm-hmm.
One of the most important pieces of self-care is you making money and keeping your business going. That is self-care. Now, I'm not saying at the expense of your sleep or at the expense of your emotional, like never. I would never ask that. But that I invite you to tether what's happening right now, to use what's happening right now to fuel you. Maybe easier said than done, but that's a mindset hack, right? So you could try it on as a mindset expert. Tell me what's coming up for you.
Guilt.
What would it mean if June was the biggest grossing month of your entire life? What if you made more in June than you've made in a year before? This June when we're looking at race riots and the escalation of the global pandemic and all of that.
I feel guilty promoting my services at a time like this.
Tell me that story. What's wrong with you promoting your services at a time like this?
People are hurting. I'm hurting. It almost feels like I'm using this pain as a way of making money. And that doesn't feel clean to me right now.
Okay. And so the alternative is to not make money.
Right.
How does that help? Does that lessen the pain if you don't make money?
No.
You ready for a Punnett Square?
Yes. Always.
I'm running out of blank pages. Okay, it's not there. Hold on. This is so important. I just want to honor you for being here and being willing to ask this question, showing up, and being receptive. I'm honored to be able to do this with you.
Thank you.
All right, so as usual, I'm making it super, super black and white so we can look at it. There's more nuance
Pun
here.
intended.
Yeah. Oh, haha. Let's do it. So you got a couple choices. You can choose to help what's happening or not. You can choose to make money or not. You with me so far?
Yeah.
What I hear you saying is that coming into this conversation, your feeling was if you want to help, you have to not make money. And if you want to make money, it means that you're not going to be helping. Maybe even you'll be harming.
Right.
And the purpose of the Punnett Square, as always, the 2x2, the duality breaking machine, is to help you look at the truth that these are actually independent choices. Like, just for fun, Trader Joe's, should they shut down their business right now, this week?
No.
Should they shut down their business during the pandemic?
No.
What about Zoom? Zoom is a better example. Should Zoom shut down their business during the pandemic?
No.
You know Zoom is off the charts. They must be 10xing their revenue right now because of the pandemic. In my mind, that's here. They're making more money, not less, and they're helping more people, not less right now. Zoom. Do you agree with that? Just that one example.
I do.
Okay. So I just know you. I know you want to help. And I know you need to make money.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make money to live. You need to make, so this is really the only box that's of any interest. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Do you feel guilty right now thinking about it?
Yep.
So why is that? What you still, as soon as you go to making money, it triggers this. If you're feeling guilt, you're here. We're trying to get you here. So tell me the story. There's a little meme going around. I don't know if you've seen it, of a guy, white guy, reading a story or telling a story to his kid about the quarantine as if it's past. And he basically is like telling his kid the history of the world, where the quarantine is part of the history. And the way he tells the story, he's like, and then the great pandemic of 2020 happened and the world woke up and we saw how we could like resolve all our environmental challenges. And we created I don't actually remember if this is in this or if someone else told me this, but then we created like a month every year where everyone would stop using their cars and we would heal the planet. And it created this new wave of change. And now we're living in this utopian, incredible reality, right? Like he tells the story of the future as if it's past. So I'm wondering if you can do that. And I'm here to help you. Can you tell the story of your success and your business from the vantage point of, let's say, a year from now, June 2021, when you look back and you're like, yeah, man, June 2020 was a catalyst for such massive change in society. And right along with it, such massive change in me. Here's what happened.
I just felt the hook, like you were talking about that, and I just felt it in my body.
Whose hook?
It's the underlying story is I don't want to be seen as insensitive or greedy.
Why not? Like, what's so bad? Worst case scenario, you go out there, you make, what was your goal last month? What was your financial goal for June last month?
10,000.
Okay. So just for fun, you go out and in June you make 20,000. And somebody is like, you fucking asshole. That's insensitive. What was the other word you used? Greedy. What a greedy fucking insensitive bitch you are. Then what? What's so bad about that?
I got it. Yeah.
What'd you get?
That's the story that has been pulling out the guilt. I just haven't been able to like Punnett square it. And it's I'm making that judgment stop me from doing the fear of that judgment stop me from doing my work. Got it.
My guess is that it's the same judgment you've been afraid of your whole life. This is not new.
No.
The circumstances that we're living in right now are just turning up the volume on the thing that was already there.
Got it.
I have another poker for you. You want it?
Yes.
Equally. I could, if you wanted to, I could argue that it is insensitive and greedy for you to not get your fucking ass out there and coach and serve like the world depends on it. So we could make another Punnett square where instead of, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it. This is worth it. What's the opposite of insensitive and greedy?
Sensitive and generous.
I'm truly thinking, is this even possible? I don't know. I don't think hiding is generous. Like, even for me, as a white person, I feel incredibly, like, urgently committed to muting. And I'm still here with you right now because I'm like, yeah, and I got people that I'm here to help. I'm not going to completely shut my business down for the week. That's not going to help anybody. But I don't need to take up as much space on social media. In fact, I'm really excited not to. So, but there, right? Like I don't think this is when I got triggered on Tuesday night. And I went into hiding a little bit. I think you saw it because I was doing it in that live with Shri, and it was just like I felt that. Oh God, I just like, that's not generous. The energy of this is not generous. It's twisty and contracted and hidden. And I'm arguing right now that this is actually the truth of what you're considering doing. And I think you can do this too. Totally. This is also an option. I don't like that I'm putting hearts here. This is available too. But this, again, this is like where you want to be. You want to be doing your mission. This is your purpose in life. Why would you not be doing that this week? And this is also your purpose in life. Why would you not be doing that this week? Trust yourself, Erica. Trust that this is who you are. Does that mean that everyone else is going to agree with every decision that you make? No. Why should they? Donald Trump is not going to agree with anything you do, probably. You're not worried about him.
Nope.
So give people the space to feel what they want to feel and think what they want to think. I think the difference for you is that you have the capacity when someone reaches out to you and they're like, Erica, I feel like you're being insensitive and greedy. You are going to be the person who's interested in that. Oh, really? Like, tell me more about that. How am I impacting you? You're going to be the person who's actually available should that worst case scenario happen to being sensitive and generous in responding to their criticism. And that's glorious. That is the medicine the world needs right now. It's not perfection. None of us fucking know how to do that. It's the willingness to be generous in a messy, charged conversation. And you know how to do that. Where are you at right now? What are you taking away from this?
Just what I usually get from being anywhere you're in your space is just bringing me back to my truth and how I wasn't allowing it to fuel me. I was allowing it to mute me. For that's the only word that I can use right now. And what is required is for me to step even more so into the work that I need to be doing.
I have a proposal for you. Are you open to something radical?
Yes.
We haven't planned this, so it's going to be messy. But what I'm fantasizing about is having Shri actually remove my face, remove the Jesse Johnson coaching logo, remove the little streamer, and just literally put you on blast and shine your glory out into the world as you share what you are here to share. Anything at all, any message that you want to share, any ask that you want to make, to not only let us see, we're already seeing you, we're already feeling you, but to really take up the whole space.
Wow. That's tender.
Mm-hmm. You know, what I'm feeling now is like, I don't even think you have to say anything. My question to you is, are you willing to just let us see only you for a moment?
Yes.
So just give us a nod or a word or a namaste when you feel complete, okay? Shri, make it so.
Okay. I want to be so strong right now, and all I have is a body full of gratitude and softness. And discomfort. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So grateful for you, Jesse.
I'm so grateful for you. Really.
Okay. I have to go coach. So
Yeah. 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 We can do this again. Really, I want you to let us know. I mean, the Jesse Johnson Coaching's social media platform is yours this week. You know, anything that you want us to share, we'll share. Any ask that you have for us, we will make on your behalf. You can make on your own behalf on our platform. Like, this is space that you can, this is real estate you can occupy.
thank you.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing to you before you disappear?
Yes.
As I heard you sharing the experience of the body of gratitude, softness, discomfort, to me, that is strength. That is the kind of strength that we need right now also. Your willingness to let us see you is enough.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm, mm, mm.
Ah,
That was
Will
so
you,
good.
will you say more about what that was for you, Shri? Like, what are you experiencing?
Well, I feel like one of the big topics that has been especially on my mind today is getting messy. We can't, we're not gonna be able to do it perfectly,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the complexities of the conversations today around the pandemic, around race,
Mm-hmm.
and it just has to be messy, and it relates so much to uh, building a business and offering your service to the world. It's like you just gotta decide and just do it and see what the world brings back. And I think that that is such a powerful space to be in.
Mm.
I feel like this is actually the initial issue with what we're seeing with race right now is that there's so many people that are a large community, you know, the Black community, having fear of speaking up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
me myself also. It's just that space of wanting to if I share, would it be right? Would it be wrong? Will they like me? If I, you know, all these things. And as you said, there's a quickening that's happening. There's a speeding up that's happening. The pandemic was sent here to speed this up.
Mm.
You know, the conversations around race was sent here to speed this up for everyone to just get a little bit more messy and share your heart, start that business, share your service, and I think that that's huge. You know,
Mm-hmm.
some people are going to say you're too spiritual. Some people are going to say you're not spiritual enough. Some people are going to say you're so positive. You know, some people are going to say you're too positive. You're not positive enough. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the beauty of being willing to get messy. I think
Yes.
is a powerful space that everyone is being asked to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've appreciated so much. You in particular have helped me understand during this time specifically that when we feel that tenderness, the fear of being seen, the fear of being chastised, the fear of being judged, of ridiculed, of whatever, that also is a gift in and of itself because it gives us insight into what other people are feeling and experiencing.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, to expect rejection, to expect humiliation, to expect not being seen, to expect to be muted, to expect to be abused, to expect to be like, I don't think it's not a perfect recipe for, or maybe it is. What if it was? What if it was a perfect recipe for actually being able to understand the experience for me as a white person to experience a taste of what it's like to be a person of color?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The more
Yeah.
of that I can get, the more compassionate, the more I can understand, the more I can
Exactly.
serve.
That's huge. That compassion. You know, it's like we see people rioting and looting. Yes, we're not for destruction and rioting and looting, but that is how people are sharing their voice. For some people that don't know any other way, and they've not been able to share their voice, that's someone saying I am suffering.
Yeah.
And for people to be able to hear that and see that, and I've seen people dumbing it down like, oh, you know, this is also the government trying to impose martial law, and maybe that's happening, yeah. And at the same time, people are suffering. This is what happens when suffering is here, you know.
Yeah.
And this is actually brave to speak up, brave to you know, to get messy. Like rioting and looting is a sign of messiness. This is my voice. I'm just being messy with it. I don't know what else to say, what else to do right now. This is my mess. Take it, you know.
Yep.
And I think there's something that's beautiful about it.
Yeah, there's that. We got to be willing to be messy. We got to be willing to be seen as messy. If we're waiting for it to look clean, we will wait forever.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody that's that is asking questions. Erica's so epic. She's here, voicing, asking, being present, and let's go into the next person.
Great.
Let's bring in Rachel.
Rochelle. Hey, girl.
Hello. Wow, I look real tan on this.
Yeah. Summer, get that sun.
Hi. Right. Yeah, I just really quick before I go to my question, I just wanted to give Erica a little shout out. I watched a video on her Facebook page today that she put on there on Monday that I know as like, it was definitely directed towards the white population, and I loved it because like, I'm gonna get so emotional here. Like, as a white person, like it's there's challenges right now too. Like, I don't like how I'm feeling. It's like there's a lot going on, and she put a beautiful post together of like, even if you don't know what to say, like just say that you don't know what to say. And it just really put a lot of things into like perspective, and I thought it was beautiful. And if you don't follow Erica on Facebook or Instagram, you should go do it right now, because she has beautiful posts. And anyway, you just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you, Rochelle. Yeah, let's all give. I think that's a brilliant action step, actually, that anyone who's watching this immediately go repost something that Erica is posting, and we'll put her Instagram handle, Facebook handle, YouTube handle, whatever, in the show notes or the comments of this afterwards. But right now, if you're watching, you can do that right away if you have a second device. What better way to serve her and serve the movement? It's just that's super powerful. So thanks for bringing that in, Michelle.
Yeah, of course. And I really felt a lot of what she said, but on the opposite spectrum, in that like you and I are obviously working on, I'm creating something for myself, but I don't want to come across as I don't want to come across offensive in any way. And so I'm putting together social media posts and things like that. And I don't want it to also seem like I'm trying to benefit from this. But it's like, you know, when I'm like, hey, you know, bring yourself into moments of ease. There's so much stress going on. Like, how can you do this? And I don't want it to come across as like, oh, well, everything that's going on is just so stressful and I don't want to deal with it. Like, I don't want the wrong message to be sent. And so I even, like, on Monday, I sat down and I was trying to put something together, and I'm like, I was kind of paralyzed because I didn't want to be offensive, and I didn't really know what to say or how to say it to really get my point across so that it wasn't offensive. And so I'm hoping that you might be able to help somewhat in that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is really common. And I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a principle, and then I'm going to tell you a story, and then we'll see if that answers your question. Principle, I just want to remind you that, like, actually, I'll come back to the principle. I'll tell you the story first. So years ago, I had two friends come visit me. I had known them separately, but since I knew them, they had coupled. And they'd been doing a lot of training together and work together around personal development, sexuality, communication. They'd been really geeking out on nonviolent communication. And so I think they'd been doing that for some time. They weren't like brand new, but they were still in that phase, perhaps, of being like kind of the new true believer, where they're just like everything nonviolent communication all the time, like hashtag NVC, hashtag, you know? And they were literally asking each other for consent for every single thing that they said and did. Everything. Taking a bite of food from their plate, touching. Yeah, I mean, they were a romantic couple. Like, babe, are you open to me touching your hand right now? Beautiful. Like, as I was watching them, I was just like, whoa, they're really in it. And then, like, after about an hour and a half, I was like, I'm literally gonna puke if you keep doing that. Like I can't, how can you make any forward progress if you have to ask permission about everything? I believe in consent. I'm not interested in violating people, not interested in non-consensual domination. That's not what I'm here for. And if I am practicing holding a standard of I will never offend anyone, I'm not going to be able to do very much, and I'm going to offend someone anyway. So with this, I think this, here's the principle. This time is turning up the volume once again on what was already here. Every entrepreneur I've ever met has had to go through what you're describing. They don't want to offend their parents. They don't want to offend their friends. They don't want to offend anybody. Nobody is like, yeah, let me offend and that's true. Even if they're rebellious and they kind of like offending people, there's someone they don't want to offend. There's someone whose approval they want. That's the flip side of this, right? It's not that you're trying to go after offending people on purpose, but it is your job, Rochelle, to renounce feeling responsible for other people's approval of you. Now, on one side is just ignorance. Like white privilege includes ignorance. That's getting interrupted. That's really important. So I'm not saying that you're just like, I'm just going to cover my eyes and whatever I say, people can fucking deal with it. I'm not worried about you doing that. On the other extreme is I need to get permission to say anything. Well, that's not serving either. So the sweet spot is you do your best to learn to be conscious, to say what's on your mind, to offer you've got this beautiful retreat coming up. What better way for people to go deeper into their consciousness than to spend this day with you? And then if someone says to you like, hey, this landed off to me. I didn't like how this felt. That's the opportunity to be like, oh my God, thank you so much for telling me. And use it to connect, use it to go deeper. Whether you agree with them or not, by the way, like I posted, you may have seen this. I posted the first like amplify Black voices post. And then I wrote a little bit about why I'm doing that. And that was when we had a whole conversation. Like, I don't know, it's not about me. I'm making it about me. It's complicated. That's what I made. I made a choice. I put it out there. Immediately, a white friend of mine reached out to me. Hey, this hit me wrong. I feel like you're using this to make yourself look good. I don't think that's your actual intention, but that's how it felt to me. Okay, let's talk about it. Why did it hit you that way? Oh, there's more information actually that I need to learn. That's helpful. Thank you so much for telling me. Mm-hmm. And my request to her was actually like, take off the kid gloves. Like, just fucking give it to me straight. You don't need to be extra nice about this. Like, judge me if you're judging me. Let me know about it. Let's use this to go deeper. You don't have to protect my feelings. You don't have to make this hard. I'm open and ready to have these conversations. Let's do it. Who better to get messy with?
It's very true.
And then when I looked on my feed today, I was like, wow, still seeing a bunch of white faces. Like, what's going on? So I'm learning. It's an experiment. That's the thing. This is how we learn. Put our stake in the ground. We try something, see if it makes an improvement. If it does, great. If it doesn't, we refine and go back. You're not going to get this perfect, Rochelle. People are going to be offended and love what you're doing. If you're doing it right, you'll get both. If you're doing this the way that you are actually meant to be doing your business, I'm saying when I say this, some people are going to be offended and some people are going to fucking lose their shit. They love it so much. That's the goal. What are you getting from all of that?
Reassurance. Not that I'm typically the super rebellious type, but normally in a lot of things that I have a lot of confidence in, I'm like, whatever. I don't care what they think. Like, I'm going to do this. I know it's right. Like, I know I'm good at it. Like, and I think right now, because there are so many mixed emotions, that I get a little tangled in that, and things are, very, I don't want to use the word sensitive right now, but there's just a lot of emotions going around in general. And I didn't want anything to come across, kind of just like what Erica said. I didn't want to come across insensitive to what is going on. And that was, because that is far from what I'm trying to do by any means. And I started planning this before, the last week happened, and all the protests happened and everything. It was something I wanted to do, especially with quarantine. And now this happening, it's almost more of a reason to like really reconnect with yourself and like figure out how you're feeling. And like, as I'm talking this through, and I'm like, wow, this is actually a really good time to be doing all of these things.
Yes. Yes.
And, but I think there's a lot of emotions that I haven't felt, and there's a lot of people that are having emotions that they've never felt before, and learning how to process that and learn from that is something completely different. And I'm like, I don't know what to do in this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. So let the tangle arise. Use all your technologies to look at the tangle. I think that's one of the most important parts of all of this, because again, I think that the things that are coming up have always been there. We just haven't had to look at them or had the urgency to look at them. And now we do. That's something to celebrate. Oh, look at this tangle I'm in. Whoa. Okay. And then you do the work to untangle it. Like, don't go into toleration around the tangle, but use the tangle to go deeper. Use the tangle to get curious. Use the tangle to learn. Use the tangle to serve more, help more. I'm telling you right now, consciousness practices, which is what your retreat is offering people, newbies, it's the most helpful tool you can offer. How to be present. How to be present with oneself is how we get present to other people. If we can't be present with ourselves, we can't hear other people. We can't see other people. If we don't know how to be conscious, how can we be conscious of something as deeply unconscious as systemic racism and oppression? And I'm telling you this because I think that you can, if you want, change the branding slightly. That's an extreme response to what's going on. You could be like, this retreat is for white people to get more conscious in a loving, helpful way so that we can be better in the world. You could do that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. You just got to know, that's what's going to happen, whether you make it explicit or not. It's got to.
Yes, 100%.
Trust yourself. Trust your knowing. Use this to go deeper.
Thank you, Jessie.
Thank you, Rochelle. What's your handle? Tell us how people can find you.
My handle is at Arby's07, not Arby's the fast food restaurant. But
yes, not out for us.
RB as in boy, EAZ07.
Great. All right. So if anybody feels like you're feeling Rochelle's energy, then go check her out.
Thank you, Jessie.
Brilliant human. Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, Shri.
Hey, Jessie.
So tender.
Tenderness.
It's so good. This is this shit. This is what we got to work on all the time. How amazing. How amazing. This is speeding it. I'm just hearing again what you said on the last time you popped on here. We're speeding up.
Speeding up the timeline.
Let's do this exponential growth shit. Let's do it.
Yes, indeed.
The more of us are doing the exponential growth thing in our own personal lives, the better we understand how exponential growth can happen, and then we can help facilitate it in the world. And what more incredible, phenomenal thing to experience right now than exponential growth around this systemic race issue?
I love it. And then on that note of exponential growth, I even feel like challenging the whole idea of muting.
Great.
Like, I don't know if we're muting, I don't know if anybody needs to mute. It's more about looking in a certain direction and raising it up, like raising that area higher. And so I question that the muting.
Well, I think that can I just speak to my own experience about that?
Yes, you can. Then we have Kaylin next.
Okay. I didn't know. I don't think I realized. I think I wanted to do it. It felt like the right thing to do. It's not like I was totally unconscious, but I was also saying yes to this muting white, amplifying black, kind of to participate in the movement. And then this morning, when I woke up and I looked at my feed, knowing that that's my intention, knowing that that's a lot of my community's intention, I found it shocking that everything that you and I have been talking about in terms of our physical spaces and our physical environments is still happening on my social feed. That somehow, despite active efforts to create something else, still I'm seeing prominently, or predominantly, I should say, white faces. Scrolling, white, 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 white. And so that woke me up. Like that felt like I mean, this is after we're muting. This is after this movement is happening. Then like, surely that's been what I've been experiencing and I haven't been seeing it. So now I feel very motivated that I think that it is worthwhile to reach for the opposite extreme and then counterbalance. And for better or for worse, I feel it's unfortunate, but it's also catalyzing something. So it's like, it's painful to look at. That's a truer thing. It's painful to look at, but I think it's important that as we're reaching for this opposite extreme, like what would it be like for me to only see black faces or people of color on my social feed? That's what I'm going for. And to still find that it's extremely white, like that's a wake-up call. So I'm in it for the experience. I'm in it for the experiment. I'm in it to be a part of the movement. I'm in it to serve. And I think you're right that it's not about silencing. It's not about hiding. It's not about obviously, I'm like, let's all serve more, help more.
Yeah. You're one of the most noisiest people that I know.
Yep. I'm going to keep being noisy.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Last one.
Welcome, Kaylin.
Well, hi. It's nice to
Hi,
see you.
Kaylin. You too.
I love the discussion that you guys are having. I love that you're not allowing the fact that it's uncomfortable to stop you from using your platform to talk about it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here with you.
My question was a little unrelated to our current events. It was just more of a general question. But if it's okay, I'd like to also say something at the end towards our current events.
Absolutely.
Just like a small thing about that. So my
For
first
some
question,
reason, Kaylin, I'm feeling like I want to do that now. Are you open to that?
Yeah,
Can we start with that?
yeah,
Do you want to take over the screen again?
sure.
Yeah, let's do it, Shri.
So what I'd like to say to everybody is that there's still love in our spaces, even if we can't see it, even if all we feel is the hurt and the pain. If trauma can be passed down through generations, so can healing. That has been a quote that has kept me going every day. And it's also why I do the work that I do. And I'm sure anybody who's watching this, you do the work that you do for that reason. So find love where you can, please. It's here, and share it. Share it with your family, share it with your friends, share it with yourself, share it with your community. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Can we shout you out? Can we quote you on that?
Yes,
It's really beautiful. Really beautiful. All right. Question, how can I serve you? What you got?
Yes. So I was asking, other than providing clarity for people who come toward you in the sales process, what other information or tips could you give to beginners, people who don't really have that much of a background in sales, but really want to make this a more sacred process?
So, I mean, there's four simple, I teach sales as a score, meaning an improvisation. It's not a script. There's particularly when you are doing what you're doing, Kaylin, selling one-on-one transformational spiritual work. Like this is not a script. You're building a relationship.
Yes.
You're getting to know this person. And there are four kind of big categories. You could call them questions, but I more and more, I'm just seeing them as like these phases of the conversation that you want to have with whoever it is that you're talking to. And the first phase of that is about desire. So your job as a salesperson is to just ask questions. You almost don't need to say anything at all. So everything that comes out of your mouth can be a question, should probably be a question. That's what's going to be the most helpful in facilitating clarity. But the first kind of phase of the conversation is about what they want. And so your job is to ask questions that help them articulate what they want in their life that they don't already have. What do they want to see different? What do they want to change? What do they want to experience? What is their vision? There's all kinds of ways you can ask that question, but you're looking for the desire. What's the hunger? What's the thing that they want to change? The second phase is what blocks them from creating that. And part of the reason that you ask this question is because you want to hear how much they understand about why they stop themselves. Because that's the thing that they can control, right? If they go into blame in that phase of the sales conversation, that's not a total deal breaker, but it's an important thing to note. Because they really need to have personal responsibility in order to do the work that they're going to do with you. The third phase is helping them look at this clarity. Like, okay, so they've told you about what happens if they create their vision. They feel free. They have wealth. They love their relationship. They're having orgasms 7 times a day, whatever. They feel constantly connected to God. God whispers to them in their own mind, whatever, right? That's the vision. The block, what blocks them, that's the second phase. The third phase is what's the alternative? What's the default setting? What's going to happen if they don't change?
The truth. That's the truth. The truth that we have to face.
That's right. And again, you might ask them 10 questions to help them get to that clarity. You know, sometimes I'll ask people like, what happens if you don't make money? And they'll say, that'll suck. And I'll be like, well, what'll suck? Like, tell me what it looks like. Like, what is it? What actually happens? Other times I'll ask, what happens if you don't make money? And they'll say, I'll be fine. You know, God will take care of me. If they say that, I know that they don't want what I got. That's fine. But if they don't care about it, when they look at that fork in the road, if they don't feel like one fork is like the key and the other fork is like really not for them, they're not going to be able to make the choice to change and use me. So a huge part of this is, again, it's helping that. So if they say that to you, if you ask them what happens if you don't change and they're like, I'll be good, then you tell them like, great, then I recommend you enjoy your fucking life. Like if you're good with your default setting, celebrate that shit. Yeah. Rock on with your bad self. That's awesome. Okay. Fourth phase, if they are like, my default setting is unacceptable to me, I have got to change. This has to change. If that's where they are, then you ask them how serious they are about changing. And it's an important question. That one actually, you can tweak the question, but that one's a little bit more of a script. Simple. You don't need to ask a bunch of questions. It's just like, yeah, how much? Now that you've looked at it, now that you've looked at this direction, you kind of know what's hard about choosing one direction or another. Which way do you want to go? throughout that conversation, you're feeling, do I want to work with this person? Can I help this person? Is this person wanting to do the work with me? Are we a fit? All that stuff you're doing while it's happening. You don't have to do that necessarily on the surface. It's underneath. You're feeling that. And if at that point you're a yes for them and they're a yes for the change, then you make an offer. Here's what I got for you. Here's how much it costs. Let's do it.
Integrating. Yes.
Great.
That's beautiful clarity process. It's a conversation. It's a human to human experience. Right. And it's honestly, it's been very difficult cleansing all of these perceptions on sales and all of this. But every time that I hear you speak about it, it's like purified in a way. Yeah. And it feels less like this thing of manipulating or taking from someone, and instead like providing an opportunity to connect on that human level, and also an opportunity for them to see, like you said, see themselves more clearly.
Beautiful.
So I'm integrating that. That's what I've been. Oh, and I also thank you for our previous talks together, because I've been integrating that too. I had a great day last week.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
So
beautiful. Well, and I love that you put your handle right there, because everybody that's, again, I think we got to implement that, Shri, as like an official policy, because it just makes it so easy. If people feel your energy and they want to connect more, then you make it so easy for them to do that. So thanks so much for always asking such rich questions, Kaylin. You're amazing. I wish you all the best.
Thank you for just being yourself and showing up always, showing up consistently, even through all the fear that might come up.
My honor.
Thanks so much. You have an amazing day.
You too. All right, Shri, good one.
Yes, indeed. Very good.
Thank you,
that
everyone.
Was quite gangster of Kaylin to put her handle inside of her name.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Very smart.
I'm doing that from now on.
Brilliant entrepreneur right there.
Yeah.
Let's keep that up. Let's make that the policy. Y'all are amazing. Thanks for staying late. Those of you guys that are here, I love that we went over extra a little bit today. And we'll be back. Shri and I are doing the lives every Tuesday and Friday night throughout June, just continuing to, I'm interviewing Shri really about success. And I think we're going to start to bring in some more beautiful voices to contribute to that conversation in the evenings. We've got this hour of insight every Thursday at noon, live streams, analyzing movies with a message on Wednesdays when you need a little fun break and like fun way to study and go deeper. And anything that we can do to serve, let us know. We're here. Email us, message us.
Yeah, and mindset, money meditation.
Yes. So we're about to announce the next virtual retreat, which will be July 10th and 11th. We're raising the price, but those of you that are quick action takers, you can get it at the $297 price. I think we're going to launch at that price, but we're raising it because people are getting amazing results, and we want to like celebrate and honor those of you that are fast action takers, and also like recognize the value that we're offering here. So mark those dates on your calendar and stay tuned for the formal announcement.
Amazing.
I love you, Shrikala. Thanks for being here.
See you in 5 seconds when you come downstairs.
Okay, great.